Were you there for the inflatable banana?
Oh yes, oh yes.
Now, one thing that I want to mention to whoever's listening to this, who they're going to be listening to this 1,000 years from now, because one of the great things about doing a podcast is that
it's forever.
It's forever.
Yeah.
Like Chopin, Bach. Can you imagine them doing podcasts back in the
Amazing.
day? It would have been great to listen to those guys and not to hear hearsay of people saying, well, their friends said that they were like this way. No, people get to know us from listening to us, So it was tough. It was really tough being in a cover band, trying to get a record deal because we also played original material.
Yeah,
not real good material, but it was
original. That's what made it so original.
We tried to sneak in original material every once in a while on the set, because we thought we were going to fool the club owners, because our material was so good that they would think it's a cover song of some big band, until they come and say, that song you guys are playing, don't do that anymore.
Oh, listen, the promoter would figure out, or the club owner would figure out that it was an original song by the length of the bathroom line, both for men and women, because there was nobody in front of that stage. So, yep, that's an original.
Nobody's dancing.
That's an original.
Oh my God! So we had basically gas money,
right?
To get us from one bad gig to another bad gig, right? So my theory was, be nice to the waitresses because they're going to take you out. Mm-hmm. Be friends.
Yes.
Befriend everybody. Yes. It was kind of like our Facebook.
Yes.
Was the gig.
Enable me.
Yeah. Let's network and make as many friends as possible because they got food.
Right. And they have a car.
They got a car.
You have to go to a laundromat.
Yeah.
You have a car.
So one of the shows that we were doing at the Rush West, mm-hmm. Somebody came in and say, "Hey, would you like to do some speed?" Now, speed back then, it was kind of like doing Red Bull.
Yeah, it was mellow.
Yeah, it was mellow.
It was mellow.
So,
yeah.
I hadn't really eaten anything. I was
your teeth weren't loose the next morning. No.
Not a whole lot. Plus, you were not chewing a whole lot anyway because you're not really eating. So somebody said, "You want to do some speed?" And I was really tired and hungry and say, "Oh, yeah, I need a little pick-me-up, right?" And I think a couple of the other guys did, too. Definitely not Bob Marlette because he actually witnessed it, And so I get up on stage, and by the time I hit the stage, it hit me. Mm-hmm. It was PCP,
Oh, I remember.
And I'm like out of my mind, And all I remember was you counting the song 1, 2, 3, 4, and before you knew it, it was over. It was like this.
Yeah, to you it was speed metal before
it was speed
metal.
Oh, it was unbelievable. And Roy Jones, who was not doing the PCP, was fed up with what was going on. And he said, "Okay, we're going to do an instrumental featuring our bass player."
Space Jazz Odyssey.
Right? So we started doing it. It was like one of those Jeff Beck songs from Blow by Blow. And here comes my bass solo. I'm Gumby. I can't play, right? But they had these inflatable bananas, Dole bananas. They were having some kind of Polynesian drink special at the bar.
Yeah, some Mai Tais.
Yeah. And I grabbed the inflatable banana that was hanging from the ceiling and throw my bass on the ground and start beating the bass with the inflatable banana. Yeah. For about 5 minutes.
It was a throwback to glam. It was art.
It was like
the sadomasochistic Rolling Stones kind of. I don't even know how to state it, but it was beautiful to watch.
It was beautiful. It was yeah, and so we end the set. I get off the stage. I had a couple of girlfriends hanging out. They didn't know they knew each other because they didn't, They disappeared. I never ever saw them again. I I didn't eat for a couple of days because all my food connections just
vanished.
They vanished completely. You know,
they abandoned you.
Yes, and I have not done a bass solo ever since.
At least not with the banana. Well, you remember the famous male bikini underwear set, where we took all our clothes off and we had underwear that looked like Speedos. So they were basically banana hammocks.
Yeah, banana hammocks.
And it wasn't bad enough now that we're up there wearing those things, but we each decided to play each other's instruments.
Art. We were playing at Big Rapids. Yeah, Big Rapids,
yep.
Which is a college town,
yep.
so we could be artsy with the audience because they expected that from us.
Yep.
And the club, the managers, they really liked us.
Yep.
As people. As a matter of fact, we were staying at their home. That was nuts. So they started making these drinks for us. They remember the nuclear warhead and the atomic missile.
The atomic something.
Yeah, and which was good because it had vitamins.
Right.
It had a lot of juices. Fruit juice and the orange juice and some bananas,
Right.
So that was kind of like a meal and a drink.
It was like
at
a
the same
smoothie
time.
with a kick.
And we had the underwear set, which actually started off as the gong show set.
That's right.
Because you had the gong. Not all bands had gongs back then.
38-inch gong.
30-inch gong. So it's like, okay, we're going to do the gong show set, which meant we opened up with a song, and then we invited people from the audience to participate. While we were drinking and us wearing Speedos and G-strings.
It was basically an apprentice type of situation where we were allowing them to be apprentices.
It was the 70s. We were like a traveling Studio 54.
Snake oil salesman is what we were.
Still no food. No. But we look good, And so... there were two things that actually broke up that band, Shatterstar. One of them was that our equipment got confiscated when the U-Haul truck that we trusted our agent to pay for.
Yeah, because we were sending him the money to pay for the weekly rental of the truck.
Yeah.
And he was pocketing the money.
Yeah. And one day we get out of the gig and the truck is gone.
Yep.
With a lot of your vintage collectibles.
All of my stuff in there.
Yeah.
All of my stuff was gone. Yeah.
So that basically put an end to the band.
Yeah.
And we both came about the same time to Los Angeles, right after that happened from Chicago.
Yes. Essentially what happened, at that point, I have no equipment. I have to figure out how to regroup. We actually went back to Chicago, and I made the decision to go to L.A., to go back to L.A., and I went to L.A., and I think it was only like a week or so later you also came
exactly.
out to L.A.
Yeah. And I arrived in Chicago with Bob Marlette, and we drove.
Who had not hung himself.
No, not yet. It's still not yet. No, actually, he's doing great.
Amazing.
He's doing
amazing.
Yeah, he's doing wonderful.
Yeah, and he produced our Alive and Well record.
That's right, he did. And I see him, frequently, and his wife is in No Small Children, which is a great band. Great. Yeah, fantastic. No, he's doing great. And we drove from Lincoln to L.A. in his father's station wagon. Mm-hmm. And somehow we reconnected because, of course, this is the mid-'70s, and even if there were cell phones, we couldn't even afford one.
Well, we were able to connect because we both instinctively went to the area where it was going to be the easiest to get drinks and find musicians. So, which was West Hollywood.
The Rainbow.
Yeah, the Rainbow.
Yeah.
So
the Rainbow
it was easy for us to coordinate.
Rainbow was Instagram and Twitter and Facebook all roll into one with you actually have to be there.
That's right.
Yeah.
You have to show up.
You have to show up and stick around for the parking lot.
That's right. As a matter of fact, a lot of times you and I didn't go to the Rainbow until midnight.
I know.
Yeah, because then we'd have 2 hours before the parking lot.
Yeah, which brings, we started living together.
Yes.
And it was facilitated because a singer that should remain nameless.
Yes, I agree.
To protect her identity.
Yes, I agree.
Actually, so we had a full band with Bob Marlette, Pete Castle, you, myself, and a singer who shall remain nameless.
Yes.
She actually was able to get welfare money to pay for our apartment.
That's right. She used to get urine from her sister, from her pregnant sister.
That's right.
And put it in. This is before Ziploc bags, so she would put it in a balloon, and take it down to welfare, and then just empty it into the cup, and yes.
And that's how we were able to stay in what it now is a very ritzy area of
one of the finest restaurants in
West Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Yeah, Sweetser and Melrose.
That's right.
Yeah. And but Sweetser and Melrose is actually quite far from the Rainbow.
Yes. Well, I don't think we wanted to be too close to the Rainbow at the time because it might interfere with our musical endeavors. It was counterproductive. If you remember, I used to always be wearing sweatpants and sweatshirt that matched with matching high tops. And when it was getting really thin on the food, which was all the time, I used to duct tape the bottoms of my sweatpants. And I'd go down to the Mayfair Market, and I would walk up and down the aisles and eat food. And then, not being a selfish person, I would take a couple of steaks and drop them down my pants, and so that the blood wouldn't leak out. That's hence the duct tape. And I remember standing in line. This is when I said to myself, I really need to reevaluate how I'm going about this whole thing, because in line in front of me, what was the singer from the Babies?
John Waite.
John Waite was in line at that Mayfair Market because they were living right up the road on Kings Road, and he was dressed like he was about this. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so he wasn't going to a gig. He was dressed like he was about to step on stage, and I mean, I loved the Babies, and I was a fan, and so there I am standing behind him with 2 bloody steaks in my pants, and particles of food in my teeth from me walking up and down the aisles, and he turns around and looks at me, and I said, "You're John Waite. I'm a huge fan of the Babies," and he looks me up and down, and he goes, "Piss off." At that moment, I had to really seriously reevaluate my mission in life. But I did go back. I did go back to our apartment. And I cooked up steaks for the band.
That's right. And that was not the only contribution. You made many contributions, such as during Christmas time. Come on, we have to have a Christmas tree, but we couldn't afford one.
No.
So you had a plan.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it started because I had all really good intentions. I went out and bought a roll of wrapping paper that was green and had Christmas balls on it, and I cut it into the shape of a Christmas tree, and I taped it to the wall, and it was the most depressing thing I had ever seen. I mean, it was crooked. It was just horrible, and it was depressing. So I said to myself, I am not going to be denied a Christmas tree purely because I have no money. So I didn't tell Bob Marlette had a car. He had that gold station wagon. Yeah. So I just said to Bob, can I borrow your car? Which I did many times to do things that were really wrong. Yeah. And he goes, where are you going? I said, up to the market. It's okay. So then I asked you if you would go with me. Because I needed somebody to drive. So there you are in the seat. And you asked me, what are we doing? I said, just drive around the parking lot, right? And I put on one glove, one construction worker glove. And you're in the front, and I'm in the back seat with the window down. And I'm going to say, get closer to the trees, get closer to the trees. And then I changed my mind. I didn't like that tree. Just say, go around again. And finally, I grabbed the tree and I said to you, punch it. And you're driving down